ship belonging to the most powerful country in the world, a guided missile destroyer docked in the Caribbean. There could be no mistaking the message that the US is sending to the region, specifically Venezuela. Trump has accused its president, Nicolas Maduro, of being the leader of a drug trafficking organisation, which he denies. The Venezuelan government says the US is trying to remove Maduro from power and has accused the US of fabricating a new war.
Y el pueblo de los Estados Unidos lo sabe. Se están inventando.
And the people of the United States know it. They're making up a new eternal war. They promised that they will never enter a war, and they're making up a war that we will avoid. How? With the mobilization of the peoples of South America. I tell the people of the United States it's vulgar, extravagant, lying, false, denying reality, the narrative they make about Venezuela.
Que hacen sobre Venezuela.
Last month on social media, Donald Trump posted a video appearing to show US military forces blowing up a ship. He claimed it was targeting drug trafficking cartels, saying they posed a threat to national security, foreign policy and vital US interests. He said, if you're transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you. The US says more than 40 people have been killed in such strikes off the coast of South America so far. And the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is key to all of this. For him, it's personal. The son of Cuban immigrants in the south of Florida, many see that getting rid of the leadership in Venezuela is also the way to achieve change in Cuba. He sees the two countries as being closely aligned. And he knows it's not human rights or democracy that get Trump's attention, but drugs. Sure, cocaine ships from Venezuela, but there hasn't been any specific evidence of organised drug operations at the top levels of government. And in an administration where the focus is America first, it may seem like a curious approach. For years, there have been issues within Venezuela, widespread unrest after economic problems and criminal violence, and elections last year considered neither free nor fair, with Maduro holding on to power. Aboard Air Force One on his way to Malaysia, Trump said he would also be meeting the Brazilian president to talk about Venezuela, because this is an issue that has the potential to destabilise the entire region.
I raised the Venezuelan issue to Trump, saying to him, because what's coming out from the newspaper, things are being aggravated with Venezuela. And I told him that it would be extremely important in this matter to take into account Brazil's experience as the largest country in South America, as the most important economic country of South America.
The US Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago said the ship would be moored here until the end of the week as part of the long-standing cooperation between the two countries. It's docked here in the port of Spain at the moment, the capital of Trinidad and Tobago, about 450 miles away from the coast of Venezuela. It joins a number of other US naval vessels now patrolling this area. But there's been much criticism in the country.
Caribbean sovereignty is not for sale. Caribbean lives are not collateral damage. And peace, true peace, must never be bartered for power.
Last week, the US released footage of its training in the Caribbean, including the deployment of thousands of troops. Some will argue this is all down to Trump having the wrong end of the stick when it comes to drugs. Others will say he knows exactly what he's doing and regime change is the goal. Well, Annette Edler is a professor of global security at Oxford University. Thanks so much for joining us. What message do you think Donald Trump is sending to Maduro by sending ships to Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, thanks. It's a clear show of power. By docking US naval vessels just off Venezuela's coast, I would say that Trump is signaling that Washington is prepared to move beyond sanctions and rhetoric. So it's a strategic coercion aimed as much at voters at home as at Maduro himself. But the issue is that this kind of militarized signaling often really raises the risk of escalation. It's exactly the dynamic that we study here at our global security program and our ACCEPT research. What we really need now, I think, is to move from coercion to cooperation, because otherwise we just risk a spiral of violence that will be very hard to reverse.
Is there any evidence of Venezuela actually being a drugs threat?
It's one of the major transit routes that goes from Colombia via the Caribbean, either into the United States, but also to other parts of the world, including Western Europe. But it is, as I said, it's a transit route. It's not the root cause. Cocaine is still predominantly produced in Colombia. So while Venezuela is important, and of course there's also links, we know there's links between Venezuelan government officials and the illicit drug trade and also other forms of organized crime, it really is just a part of a bigger picture. And unless this bigger picture is being addressed, there's no way that the US will really be able to achieve anything meaningful with that.
A lot of people have pointed to Marco Rubio. Was it Rubio that convinced Trump that Venezuela was responsible for drugs entering the US in order to kind of interest him?
All right, so good night to everyone joining the live broadcast tonight. I just wanted to start with that clip because they had a lot of factual information about what is taking place right now between Venezuela and the United States, and mainly the warship coming and docking in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, our government have said time and time again not to worry, not to worry, not to worry. In fact, Kamala Bissessar said, stay calm, and my name is Kamala, stay calm. And I think it's really something that Trinidad and Tobago really needs to adopt. I think that we truly need to stay calm. Now, in this time, we do see that Al Jazeera is in Trinidad. Several international news outlets are also in Trinidad and Tobago covering the very warship, one of the largest or the largest warship in the world, docking right here in Trinidad and Tobago, and that's USS Gravely. The USS Gravely ship docked in Port of Spain. You know, we should have gone and see that today before we went to come up the road. But the US Gravely ship right here in Trinidad and Tobago, and it seems like every person or everybody is scared. Now, Kamala Bissessar is, and she said today that she's unfazed because in all of this Trinidad and Tobago, the Venezuelan vice president seeks to, in a way, scare Trinidad or try to threaten Trinidad and Tobago with some semblance of we should, and even what it is, the U.S. general, not the U.S., the Venezuelan general, the person there, try to scare Trinidad and Tobago saying don't underestimate Venezuela. And I want to reiterate to Venezuela, it's not Trinidad against Venezuela. We are against the drug cartels. The United States is saying, through President Trump, that they too are against the drug cartels. And the US wants to put a handle on the drug cartels, not just coming to Trinidad or just coming to the United States, but the cartels in the Caribbean in general, or in the Southern Americas in general, South America. Donald Trump today spoke to members of the media and said basically the same thing I'm saying here, that for far too long it has been going on, and Donald Trump casted some blame to the former President of the United States, Joe Biden, for allowing such to happen in the Caribbean. This is what he said. Listen.
To the entire world that the cartels are the ISIS of the Western Hemisphere, in addition to their monstrous violence, such as cutting off heads, burning their enemies alive, and burning innocent people alive, too, by the way. The cartels control large swaths of territory. They maintain vast arsenals of weapons and soldiers, and they use extortion, murder, kidnapping to exercise political and economic control. Thank you very much, Joe Biden, for allowing that to happen. Biden surrendered he just surrendered our country to the cartels. Don't worry, it gets better. We're taking it back. It should now be clear to the entire world that the cartels are the ISIS of the Western Hemisphere, in addition to their...
So that day, Trinidad and Tobago was the U.S. President Donald Trump declaring the cartels as ISIS, saying that they are just like ISIS. And he blamed Joe Biden for allowing such to continue in South America, but mainly as well right here in Trinidad and Tobago for a zone of peace. We want to do this. Run it. We want to do this. We want to continue dancing with Nicolas Maduro. Apparently this is the zone of peace that persons are speaking about. This is not the zone of peace that we don't need zone of peace right now. We don't need a peace deal with Venezuela. What we need with Venezuela is for them to A, take back their people, and B, stop the illicit transshipment that happens between Venezuela to Trinidad to the rest of the world. That's all Kamala Persad-Bissessar is saying. And we have protection. The warship is here so children could go on tour it. And that's the only reason the warship here. Stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. When we come back, the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, is set to join us on the line. Let's just see if he's in just yet. I'll just right-click there. Let me see if he's in. Yeah, go ahead. All right. Not just yet, but the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, is set to join us on the line as soon as we return from this commercial break. So stay tuned for everyone joining on YouTube. Be sure to share the live as much as possible. We have a lot of news, a lot of information to share, so stay tuned for that, Trinidad and Tobago. Apologize. Stay tuned for that. When we come back, we will speak with former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this.
Unbeatable deals, unbeatable experience. More savings, more smiles. Shop smart, save more at S&S. Quality you trust, prices you love. At S&S Supermarket, we make every trip rewarding. From unbeatable promotions to top-tier customer service, we bring you the best deals with an endless variety and effortless shopping. From everyday essentials to unique finds. We have it all in one place. No more running around. Shop at any one of our conveniently located branches in Mayaro, Rio Claro, or Pico.
If your child doesn't understand what they read, SCA becomes 10 times harder. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
Welcome to S&S Facade Group of Companies, a dynamic community-driven group serving multiple industries with excellence and integrity. At S&S Facade Supermarket, we're committed to community, providing vessel export delivery, custom food services, local delivery, wholesale solutions, fresh produce, in-house bakery, and premium meats. Discover relaxation reimagined at Sunset Beach Resort, with beachfront stays and dining that blends local flavor with ocean views, perfect for families and couples. At Cuts and Curve Fitness Center, where health meets lifestyle, with personal training, meal plans, a full gym, and on-site cafe. The S&S Facade Group of Companies, building value, trust, and community across everything we do.
welcome back to the live Trinidad and Tobago. So we're going to get to the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, and we're going to speak specifically towards the warship being here in Trinidad and Tobago, and if we should have any level of fear. Now, Mr. Griffith, or as you know, Captain Griffith, was a former Commissioner of Police to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, former Minister of National Security, also mainly former military officer, as well as former National Security Advisor. So at this time, it is crucial to have a good advisor next to you, and we're going to get to the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, on that. But before we go to there, the Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, said that she is not fazed at all about anything that is happening, and particularly about any threats coming from Venezuela. Take a listen.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar remains unfazed by Venezuela's latest move to suspend bilateral energy agreements with TNT, saying that the country's economic future is not tied to its South American neighbor.
However, former Energy Minister and former Prime Minister Stuart Young criticized the UNC administration, accusing it of mismanaging the country's energy sector and eroding years of progress.
Jesse Ramdale has more.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar says the government is not concerned about the future of Trinidad and Tobago's energy cooperation with Venezuela, following an announcement from the Venezuelan government that Caracas is looking to suspend all bilateral gas agreements. Venezuela's Vice President Delcy Rodriguez explains that Article 13, Number 3 of the 2015 agreement grants either party the authority to formally renounce the deal. She described the agreement as very broad and said the denunciation would be a responsible measure to protect Venezuela's national interests. The move on Monday by Venezuela's oil ministry places the development of the Dragon gas field in limbo once again, as well as Coquina Mannequin and the Lauren Manatee gas fields. Just a month ago, the U.S. granted TNT an OFAC license to pursue the Dragon project. The Venezuelan vice president has argued that the Kamala Persad-Bissessar-led government has shifted its foreign policy in a way that undermines the regional solidarity. But in an immediate response, Persad-Bissessar said the decision, while unfortunate, would not derail the country's plans for economic growth and energy development. She contended that her administration's approach has been one of balance and prudence, saying the previous government heavily relied on the Dragon gas project. Former Energy Minister and former Prime Minister Stuart Young criticized the government's handling of the situation, saying the country's energy future is being systematically destroyed. He is particularly concerned about the Manatee gas project, which has been reported to hold around 10 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. Meanwhile, opposition leader Penelope Beckles said the development is both alarming and consequential. Beckles said the development represents a complex and delicate challenge that requires a measured and thoughtful response from the Trinidad and Tobago government.
All right, so that was Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Trinidad and Tobago, and yeah, a lot happening between Trinidad and Venezuela, or maybe Venezuela and Trinidad, because Venezuela is again saying Trinidad should not underestimate Venezuela in this regard. Now, CNC3 did subsequently after run a news clipping that says that there's a lot of panic buying happening in Trinidad, and it says that a lot of citizens are relatively scared. The opposition today through Emery Bronx is also saying that there's a lot of persons who have mental issues around this time. I don't know where he got his information or where that is coming from. But once more, speaking to us, Trinidad and Tobago, on this very important issue is none other than Captain Gary Griffith. Mr. Sorry, we just got your audio, Mr. Griffith. Go ahead. How are you tonight?
You hear me okay now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am hearing you.
Okay, great. Good evening to you. Fine, thank you.
All right. Captain Griffith, you are a former Commissioner of Police, former Minister of National Security, former military officer, as well as former National Security Advisor. As I just said, in this crucial time, what we need is a proper advisor to the Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, on these important international matters. From your observation, Mr. Griffith, how is everything looking? Is it because a lot of persons are questioning whether or not there is a pending war that is going to happen between the United States and Venezuela? How is it looking on your end from your expertise?
Well, definitely. Good evening to you and to your many listeners and viewers again. You don't need to read tea leaves. I mean, there's a pattern. Usually before any armed conflict between countries, you will start seeing a pattern of certain things developing. And we are seeing it develop. What I think is very unfortunate is that people are trying to point fingers at Trinidad and Tobago, and based on what is being done here. We have to recall and understand that Venezuela have continued to throw shots across the bow at Trinidad and Tobago. They have drawn first blood. It started with Venezuela openly stated that they're aware of terrorists in Trinidad and Tobago, and they want to destabilize Venezuela, and Venezuela by right have a right to go and enter any place to extract these individuals, which is virtually is the type of excuse used by a country to invade another country. They have made comments referring to senior politicians in Trinidad and Tobago as drunkards. They've made statements now stating that Trinidad and Tobago is in bed and in cahoots with the United States to have war against Venezuela. They've lied and misled the country. So many times they've stated it. They went recently now here, and the defense minister make statements and virtually in local parlance fasten out of place to state that Trinidad and Tobago by right should not have allowed our international ally to have their vessel land in Trinidad and Tobago's waters. So Venezuela is now virtually threatening us and telling us who must come into our waters. And now you have Venezuela now virtually very, very childish, I do believe, threatening to state that we cannot get part of any negotiation with them as it pertains to the energy sector. With all of these things taking place, people are still pointing fingers at Trinidad and Tobago. We are part of CARICOM, but every single country in CARICOM is an independent state. That there was no federation. It ended before it began with the 10-1. But in the same manner, the CARICOM needs to understand that Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, we are the ones that are being affected. We are the ones that have been threatened. We are the ones that Venezuela continue to point fingers at. The things that people are accusing the United States of doing with Venezuela, in that their claims that the United States is trying to poke the bear to justify attacking Venezuela. Venezuela is doing the same thing to Trinidad and Tobago, and by right, we must have the ability to protect ourselves. I do hope that the Prime Minister has the type of advice and expertise. This is a time Trinidad and Tobago has never experienced this. 1990, when I was the youngest officer in the coup, that was child's play. Those were 100 misfits that didn't know how to deal with the situation. We dealt with them in a few days. This is a situation where it is external aggression. Thankfully, I drafted that Ministry of Defense for Kamala Persad-Bissessar since 2010, anticipating something like this. The Ministry of Defense is supposed to be the front line. Unfortunately, you're hearing more of the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs and the Ministry of Homeland Security. The Ministry of Defense has not said a word. No fault of the minister, but the Ministry of Defense does not have what I strongly recommend. There are so many qualified experts in regional security, such as retired Brigadier and Generals Carl Alfonso, John Sandy, Ken Maraj, and then we have Chiefs of Defense from Anthony Franklin and Kel Scholl. These are the type of people that should come together, form a think tank to be able to give guidance to the Ministry of Defense, upon which it can then be forwarded to the Honorable Prime Minister so she can make informed decisions.
Let me ask you this then, Mr. Griffith. Would you say that Kamala Persad-Bissessar today is A, saying the right thing, and B, doing the right thing when it comes to Venezuela and Trinidad and the imploding relationship right now, because Kamala Persad-Bissessar's stance is all mainly, as the PM keeps saying, for citizens and for country, and is against the drug cartels, and it's nothing against Venezuela, but simply against the illicit trade that happens between Trinidad and Venezuela. Would you say that she's taking the right approach, or should she be maybe doing something different?
Well, I might be biased because you all would have known my style as a Minister of National Security, as a Commissioner of Police from the one shot, one kill. My take on it has always been do it to them before they do it to us. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar has shown the type of leadership. I think it's virtually exactly what I would have done. When people speak about all of these things. They speak about due process and by right we need to sit back and allow things to happen. We can't sit back and allow Venezuela to press that button. One missile from Venezuela can annihilate all our military installations. We need to get the support from our international allies through that known as SAMs, surface-to-air missiles. The last administration, we left. I remember when I left as Minister of National Security with the same Kamala Prasad-Bissessar as Prime Minister and Chair of the National Security Council. We left the Coast Guard with 12 diamond vessels, a Chinese vessel over 100 meters that can train hundreds of Coast Guard officers. The PNM government left those things abandoned for 10 years. So the Coast Guard right now have virtually nothing in the water to protect us. They do not have the manpower strength to equate with asset acquisition. The Air Guard, we left them with 4 helicopters, with 2 aircraft, everything. Now the Air Guard, they have no helicopters, there's no aircraft, there's no drones. They don't have a, David, I don't know if you ever heard of the Chicky-Chong. They don't have a Chicky-Chong kite to fly, the Air Guard. There's nothing that they have. And that's because of the last administration's incompetence in not understanding the importance of our defense. That is why when I drafted that Ministry of Defense was to make sure our military personnel are prepared, they are trained, they have the preparation for any eventuality. And as I said, that same vessel you're seeing there, the same United States that people are about talking, they offered me 2 of those vessels at no cost to help Trinidad and Tobago's border protection. Those exact vessels, about 20 years old, but still, you're talking about the United States willing to give that to me when I was Minister of National, well, not me, I should say, the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And I made that agreement with them because they were willing to support us. They have provided intelligence gathering, equipment, training, technology. Venezuela have never provided anything for us. What Venezuela has provided for us, let me be clear, for decades before I became minister, this will be before you were born as well, David, Venezuela continued to abuse and harass our fishermen for decades with the La Guardia Nacional until when I got those diamond vessels, that 12 vessels at the cost of 1.2 billion TT less than the OPVs. I told the La Guardia Nacional, I asked for an immediate meeting with the defense minister of Venezuela, the defense minister at the time. He brought all his heads of national security to Trinidad and Tobago, and we signed a bilateral agreement with them promising never to invade our waters again. Because I told them, I said, now that we have these diamond vessels, if you cross into our territorial waters, because they were net season vessels, season the catch for decades. I said, if you do it, we are going to fire at you because you're entering our waters. I was prepared for that to protect our citizens and our sovereignty. And Venezuela agreed because sometimes bullies need that. So the comments being made by Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, while some people may not like it, at times you need to stand up to a bully. And Venezuela, what they have been doing about we're not giving you our gas, calling people drunkards, stating that we have terrorists, stating that they intend to invade our space. All of these things that they've been doing are now attacking us because we decide to bring a foreign country to have their assets, their naval vessel land here. They are bullying us, and by right, if we don't stand firm, we are going. What they're doing, they are testing to see how far they could go. So the same way people are accusing the US of doing with Venezuela, they're doing the same to us. And if we can get the international allies to support us, as much as I know CARICOM, they want a zone of peace. How could you call it a zone of peace when you have a country virtually telling Guyana 1/3 of a vast majority of your rich minerals and land space we want, and we think it belongs to us, and we intend to seize it? And you in CARICOM, you have said nothing. How it is that CARICOM, you're here in Venezuela, virtually tell Trinidad and Tobago, we know you have people in Trinidad and Tobago that want to destabilize Venezuela, and we intend to invade your country if it is that, if we want. That's virtually what they have said, and CARICOM has said nothing. So in the same manner, I think CARICOM needs to sit back and analyze what Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana we're going through. It can't be that because our houses are on fire in Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, you intend to wet yours. If we're affected in any way based on the implication or the repercussions of any armed conflict between the US and Venezuela, it is not just going to affect Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, it will affect CARICOM. So we need to work together. It must not be a situation of us versus them or a tit for tat. I think it involves proper dialogue, but also, more importantly, getting the qualified security experts in CARICOM to work together. Because I don't think there's any politician now as a prime minister who has military training. I don't think any minister of national security has any military training. So it requires the expertise. Thankfully, the new chief of defense staff, he is very well qualified. I worked with him whilst I was in the defense force. I was in the army, he was in the Coast Guard. And I think the Defense Force is in very good hands. But what it requires is the support from the state and definitely the support from the country. The young men and women in the Defense Force, many of them may not have been prepared for the eventuality. We need to make sure there's proper psychological preparation for these individuals for what may transpire. Having said that, I will quickly add, what must happen as much as possible is dialogue and communication to prevent what may take place. But CARICOM stating what they call this a zone of peace and demanding peace, that and nothing can be very well be the same thing, because that's not going to put a rippling effect on the United States or Venezuela. What they intend to do, what they do can affect us in CARICOM.
I like that you say that, Mr. Griffith, because I have not heard that level of conversation yet, at least put towards CARICOM for proper dialogue when it comes to the impending war between the U.S. and Venezuela. It has always just been peace, 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 and never about what Venezuela is being a transshipment from Trinidad or from Venezuela to Trinidad, etc., to the wider world. But mainly back home to Trinidad and Tobago for just one quick second. The opposition today is saying that the citizens' mental health is at risk in this regard of the war between Venezuela and the United States. I want to get your take on this, but I want you to hear it for yourself, and I want you to hear the opposition yourself. Emery Brown, outside of the parliament, was asked about the impending war between the U.S. and Venezuela, and Emery Brown said this.
There must be concern. We're also concerned about the mental health of a number of our citizens, especially older persons who, despite the blasé refutations of the Prime Minister, are very, very concerned. Some of them are quite terrified, and it would help if there's some transparency.
So that there, Mr. Griffith, was Emery Brown. What's your opinion?
Mr. Brown, but this is the same Emery Brown who also stated that SORT was to be shut down because the U.S. claimed that SORT was involved in extrajudicial killing. Even though SORT, not one officer in SORT, the Special Operation Response Team, was ever convicted, charged, or arrested in any form or fashion for extrajudicial killing. Yet he misled the country and the United States, because it seemed that the PNM government had a problem with SORT because we were pushing hard to peg back the same type of drug trade and terrorist elements that the present Prime Minister is now speaking about and she's opposed to. So, and then he's stating that how the United States is involved in extrajudicial killing. So he seemed to have been an extrajudicial killing expert then. Now he seems to be an expert as it pertains to persons with mental state. In any situation with armed conflict, all countries, there's going to be panic. There's going to be sometimes panic based on lack of information, fake news. But the panic sets in not in this situation is not based on by I think what the government is doing, but by others. You have someone on social media have the audacity to put something on social media to state that to do as if she's speaking to the president of Venezuela and telling him this is the house of the Prime Minister, don't miss. When you do things like that, that is what will cause panic. That is what is going to cause people to be terrified. And I think it is appalling that in a situation like this, where the country must be united, people are deliberately trying to have an internal civil political war in Trinidad and Tobago to divide the country, when the country more than ever should be unified. This is a time where we need to be unified, because there's one Prime Minister, one government, one Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. The type of nonsense being stated on social media is totally uncalled for. Nobody is stating that you can't criticize, but to make comments like that, that is what is going to cause panic. What I would strongly recommend to the Prime Minister is that same National Operations Center that she approved with my guidance, the establishment in 2014. It needs to be re-established, but it is not a police operations center.
And before you go there, I actually listened to one of your videos, your budget video actually. I know Gary going to that command center. But continue, Mr. Griffith. And I agree with you 100%. But I want you to, if you could real quick, specifically tell the viewers why why the command center really needs to be put directly under the office of the Prime Minister.
well, again, in this situation, this is the perfect situation. The National Operations Center is there to deal with any natural or man-made disaster, any major carnival event, any major fete. The next two World Cup games, we'll have 20,000 plus in this national stadium, a CPL game, mass traffic congestion, major floods, hurricanes, earthquakes. That is what the NOC is for. That is not about policing. Policing is a very small part. That's why we call it the National Operations Center, not the Police Operations Center. In this situation here, the critical nature of that NOC is to make sure all arms of the protective services work together. Because if this situation with the United States and Venezuela goes south, literally, and it escalates, it is not just the police going to be involved. The police will have probably the smallest part in the protective services to play, apart from the Army, the Coast Guard, the Air Guard, the Customs, the Immigration. So that is where the NOC comes in. Additionally, and finally, the NOC is to provide that communication platform, not just for the arms of the protective services to get information in real time, but for the public, because the public is being misinformed constantly by persons who, for example, a man refers to himself as a regional security expert. The man has never gone further north than Shaka Shakari, but he's a regional security expert. And all his comments continue to be to attack the government's decision. Now he's making recommendations to the Prime Minister what she should say. You've never been a politician. And those are the things that can cause problems. Those are the things that can cause panic. If the NOC gives information in real time, it takes away fake news, it eliminates stupid comments, it eliminates persons who self-appoint themselves as regional security experts with an obvious agenda. And with that, proper information being fed to the public will minimize the possibility, as Avery Brown will say, of people going mad.
Agreed. I 100% agree there, Captain Griffith. I am not scared. I don't know if you are. Are you at all afraid, Mr. Griffith?
Well, I think that's an unfair. Remember, I am trained for this. I live for this. I started my military career looking under vehicles in the United Kingdom with the IRA and patrols with the Irish Republican Army. I've done exercises in Cyprus. I was with the United Nations in Haiti. I was the youngest officer in the coup. I got there were 43 death threats with me as Commissioner of Police because I was taking the fight to the criminals that the PNM government was very concerned about, which is why they had to take me down. So I am used to this, but I'm not the average citizen. The average citizen, I am concerned how they will feel, how they will think, and that is why it is important that the Prime Minister gets proper guidance. I don't think right now there's any serving senior military officer close to her that or past that can give her advice. Civilians and politicians can't advise a Prime Minister in a situation like this. In a situation like this, you will always see it. You will see it in all these movies. The President or the Prime Minister, you will have somebody at a very senior level as that person's right hand to guide them. This is a situation where the Prime Minister requires the expertise, and she does. I mean, her previous ministers of national security take me out of the equation because people say, are looking for a work. So forget about Gary. You're looking at John Sandy, you're looking at Carl Alfonso, you're looking at Ken Maraj, you're looking at Brigadier General Philip Spencer, who dealt with the SOE when Kamala Persad-Bissessar was Prime Minister. So there are many persons who have the capability to guide her, to support her, to advise her, and the Ministry of Defense that is very silent at this time. That being done would allow the Prime Minister to say the right things, do the right things. I'm not saying she is not this time, but as it gets deeper and more sensitive, she needs to make sure she has that support and guidance, not from politicians, but those persons who are very well trained in the art of warfare, the art of combat, and how to negotiate to stop something from escalating like this.
I do appreciate you 100%, Captain Griffith. I think if anything is to break out, I think it's fair to say, go back to him. Let me make sure and say this with Captain Gary on the line. I think it's fair to say the nation could call 624 Gary.
I mean, first in the line.
Trinidad and Tobago, speaking with me again, former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith, former Minister of National Security, also former military officer and former National Security Advisor. Captain Griffith, thank you so much again for joining.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Have a great one. All right, as we move on tonight, Trinidad and Tobago, there's still a lot more for us to talk about. You have to choose more overlay, don't forget that. Please, Director. Thank you. There's still a lot for us to talk about tonight. The Venezuela situation is imploding, and Venezuela is targeting Trinidad and Tobago simply because they cannot target the United States of America. And CNC3 ran an article talking about the panic buying. I have not gone out. I went to Massey today. Massey has sale on toilet paper. I could tell you, it's still there. The toilet paper is still there. I mean, we went to buy toilet paper simply because we run out of toilet paper. All right? And Massey has sale on toilet paper. I think you can get the, is it Snuggies? The soft and something for the, no, for real, it's $30 something, but all they don't go to Massey thinking any big bill. It's more like that for $30 something. But nobody panic bought. I don't know what CNC3 talking about, but CNC3 have an agenda. As some persons call it, PNM 3. Take a listen.
Tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela have stirred unease across the Caribbean. While government officials say there's no cause for alarm, the Supermarkets Association says some citizens aren't taking any chances.
Kevin Feldman and Che Tickerson tell us citizens have been quietly stocking up since the situation worsens.
As the warship USS Gravely docked in Port of Spain for joint military exercises, concern rippled across some supermarkets. Some residents, wary of the geopolitical tension, are filling trolleys with canned food, water, and other essentials just in case.
I want to make sure that my family is taken care of in case of if there's anything shutting down.
JT Supermarket in Seatree Centre, St. Madeleine, noted higher sales in bottled water, toilet paper, flour, rice, and canned foods like tuna, Vienna sausages, sardines over the weekend. Maria Garcia said the uncertainty between Washington and Caracas has changed the way she shops and how she feels about tomorrow.
You feel scared, you feel uncertain.
Others, like Mafalda Fabian, share the concern but are waiting before they act.
As it stands, I think it is necessary, but I'll still hold for a little bit until my children and I decide to do it together.
For the allies, preparation and prayer go hand in hand. Ezra is stocking up cautiously, while Nizam is trusting in faith.
We have to organize ourselves and get our groceries. How much could we buy? It's a limited amount. They might be rationing stuff eventually if war breaks out.
I've been praying for my country all the way. So I'm not scared, not worried.
But not everyone is alarmed. Some say the tension between the superpowers is not this country's fight.
And I think my government is smart enough to protect its people, so I'm not worried.
And as some shop in fear and others in faith, supermarket operators say there is no need to panic. Shelves remain full and supply lines remain steady. At Massey Point Fortin, staff say there has not been anything out of the usual, with toilet paper sales up because of the company's flash sale.
The supply chain into supermarkets remains resilient, with stocks in both our warehouses and in supply warehouses. Should there be increase in purchasing due to natural disaster, hurricane, flooding, or any external circumstances.
Whether cautious or confident, shoppers across the South are watching the headlines, hoping calm, not conflict, prevails.
And just as I said, there's no panic buying. I don't know why CNC3, and that is the thing. At the end of the clip, you realize the supermarkets, at least Massey and Point Fortin, say everything is as usual, right? But they still run that clip saying that people panic buying. Why? So they engage in fear at the start, because that's the first thing you'll get, and then at the end they calm you down saying, well, there's no panic buying taking place. That is, you see the media, only have a problem in Trinidad and Tobago, boy. And why only even worry about Kim Cole? I tell you, Kim don't even know what her name is. Whether it's Kim Cole here wood, whether it's which wood, this wood, that wood, the other wood, it's all wood going to Kim Cole. Everything wood Kim does just accept. It's wood. We should not take information from Kim Cole. We should not spread Kim Cole's post. We should not worry about it. Whether her name is Crystal Harewood, this Harewood, that Harewood, you realize what the name having it? Something common to, anyway, Trinidad and Tobago. Right after this, we went to the St. Joseph Secondary School, and we showed you the wasteful spending by the people's, or not even spending, the waste of time opposition that we have here in Trinidad and Tobago that we call the government for 10 years. When we come back from this commercial break, we'll take a look at all of the waste sent or done or given to us or left by the People's National Movement. Stay tuned.
Unbeatable deals, unbeatable experience. More savings, more smiles. Shop smart, save more at SNS. Quality you trust, prices you love. At SNS Supermarket, we make every trip rewarding. From unbeatable promotion to top-tier customer service, we bring you the best deals with an endless variety and effortless shopping. From everyday essentials to unique finds, we have it all in one place. No more running around. Shop at any one of our conveniently located branches in Mayaro, Rio Claro, or Fuco.
If your child doesn't understand what they read, SCA becomes 10 times harder. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
Welcome to SNS Facade Group of Companies, a dynamic community-driven group serving multiple industries with excellence and integrity. At SNS Facade Supermarket, we're committed to community, providing vessel export delivery, custom food services, local delivery, wholesale solutions, fresh produce, in-house bakery, and premium meats. Discover relaxation reimagined at Sunset Beach Resort, with beachfront stays and dining that blends local flavor with ocean views, perfect for families and couples. At Cuts and Curve Fitness Center, where health meets lifestyle, with personal training, meal plans, a full gym, and on-site cafe. The SNS Facade Group of Companies, building value, trust, and community across everything we do.
So this is the photo online. Kamala Laki says Maduro. And it says, moments after Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez announced stakeholders intend to suspend all gas agreements with Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro refers to Prime Minister Kamala as a lackey with moral weakness. So us here in Trinidad, we think that Kamala too brave to stand up to Nicholas. And in Venezuela, Nicholas saying Kamala's stupid and lackey and drunk for standing up against him. And he says that Kamala has no more, well, she has plenty moral weakness. So you find Kamala weak or she brave? Which one? She too brave or she very weak? Which one is it? Because I think that Kamala is the only bravest leader standing up against Nicolas Maduro, and the only in the Caribbean standing up against Nicolas Maduro. While jackasses like Keith Christopher Rowley go to videos, scroll down, do this. While idiots do this, and while the rest of the world want to do this, even Nicolas Maduro seen that. You saw the clip with Nicolas dancing in Venezuela. You know Nicolas dancing in Venezuela. Dance all you want to know. Nicolas, enjoy it while it lasts. That's all I can say. Enjoy it while it lasts. Send all the smart comments Trinidad and Tobago's way. Send all the stupid lackey comments. You could say Kamala weak. Your days are numbered. Not because there's an impending war, but because the U.S. has an agenda. And the U.S., per the current president, Donald Trump, wants your head. You have $50 million on your head. One of the largest bounties ever set by the U.S. But Kamala lucky, and she have moral weaknesses. Sure, Kamala is a morally weak person. Not you, not that Nicolas Maduro stole several elections. Not that. It's not that you can't win an election because you're weak. No one wants you in Venezuela. Even your own people running from you. Your people is leaving your country. Not because they like you, but because you are weak. You rather do this. Slow long. You rather do this. You rather run over your own people than to stand up in court. Just come closer to the end. All right, there's what you rather do. You rather run over your own people because you are weak. You're a weak leader. A real leader will face elections, face the polls. And someone that is not weak and that is loved and beloved by the people, they would never let go. They'd never let go. But Venezuelans choose to run from Venezuela and come here to Trinidad and Tobago for what reason? It's not only that Venezuela weak or Venezuelan president weak, but it's that your currency weak. You are weak. You need Russia. You need China. You can't do anything alone. Trinidad and Tobago stands alone in the Caribbean against you. Trinidad and Tobago stands alone. Trinidad and Tobago says, take your people back. And the illegal ones, by the way, that are in our jails, 200 of them, take them back. And in every single thing that you have said to Kamala Persad-Bissessar, calling her a drunk and threatening Trinidad and Tobago in regards to the energy sector, we have not backed down. Kamala Persad-Bissessar said that we have other options. It's unfortunate. We have other options, and we'll go to the other options. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is the one speaking about diversifying Trinidad and Tobago's economy. Do we need gas? Of course. Of course we do. Are there other options for it? Of course there is. Maybe it might be more expensive. Maybe it might be inexpensive. Whichever it is. We will not subject ourselves to getting raped by Venezuela, to getting buggered by Venezuela. No grease, no oil for any type of oil and gas. And that is Kamala Persad-Bissessar's stance. The last jackass that run this country, he was doing that. He was rubbing it. He was greasing it. And you was greasing him. But you will not grease Kamala Persad-Bissessar at all. But as we move on, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Joseph, and this one I like Kamala Persad-Bissessar about as well because she puts people first. St. Joseph Secondary School has been down for over 10 years. And we hope to see that Kamala Persad-Bissessar in this term, this reign, currently will finish, complete, build, rebuild, whatever that needs to be done on the St. Joseph Secondary School. For all of you that don't remember this story, Nyan Gasbidali, former Minister of Education, said that Kamala Persad-Bissessar does not have a heart for education, as she said. Kamala Persad-Bissessar per Nyan Gatsby Dolly is lying and hoodwinking the people of Trinidad and Tobago simply because she said only 2,000 things about education via the national budget presentation. Imagine that making sense. Let me see if I have that clip so I can show you with Nyan Gatsby Dolly before showing you the St. Joseph Secondary School. I have that. I probably do not. Yeah, here it is. So let me take you to this clip.
Former Education Minister Dr. Nyan Gatsby Dolly says education and youth development were treated as an afterthought in the 2026 national budget. She believes the government has reversed gains made over the last decade, adding the finance minister devoted very little time to education in his budget presentation. She also claims key support programs were cut, including help for students from low-income families. She says this shows the government does not prioritize education.
Another critical weakness of the budget was the minimal focus on a critical sector such as education. Education and youth were almost left out of the budget contribution. The focus was minuscule, almost like an afterthought. 1,800 words devoted to education and youth out of 20,000 words delivered over 3 hours. That's less than 9%. Yet the UNC would have us believe, and would have the country believe, that youth and education are frontline priorities.
Imagine that is the former Minister of Education. In her own words, nothing there is hypocritical, apparently. So there are some persons on social media that seem to think that I am afraid of the Standing Finance Committee, and I am afraid to talk on the Standing Finance Committee. I have been speaking on several issues, and then I devoted my entire Saturday to particularly respond to the nonsense that government spewed at the Standing Finance Committee. And part of it was this video here directly to former Minister of Education, Nyan Gatsby Dolly. We are at the St. Joseph Secondary School. Why am I here? Well, the former Minister of Education, Nyan Gatsby Dolly, has the audacity to ask the government, what are you doing about education? And she specifically stated that the government does not care about education. Well, this school here, will look like a track now. I promise you, I'm in front of a school. This school was put down by the then People's Partnership Administration. And for 9+ years, it has been abandoned. We're going to take you around that abandoned structure, and then we're going to reverse the conversation and ask Nyan Gatsby Dolly, what did you do for education? Let's take a look. So this is the driveway entering into the school compound. Now I promise you, before, in the past, it was better. I mean, you could see where the drainage is. I mean, look at the structure, look at here. It's in a mess, look. It's in a mess. I don't know what Nyan Gatsby Dolly is saying, what she doing. I feel like kind of in the jungle or something, trying to find a way around this. Where's the school? Come on this side, director. Where's the school, director? Where's the school? Nyan? Nyan? I'm looking for you, Nyan Gatsby. Come close to me. Come right here, right here. Nyan, is this the school that you left for 10 years, Nyan? Is it? We're trying to find it. All they needed to do was complete the structure. That's all. That's all they needed to do. They just needed to complete it. In fact, it was probably 90% completed, and all they needed to do was finish the roof, and they couldn't do that. Look at here. People vandalize. Look, this is vandalism. People vandalize. Bamboo, look, we have carpets. Carpets at the school. So therefore, you know, you've got carpets. If you all want bricks, come right here. If you look through the bush, you could see some parts of the school. You could zoom in and see some parts of the school there through the bush. Yeah, look it right there. You seen some parts of the school there, Trinidad? Ah, look at that. Hold it there, hold it there. It's like it's like in a twilight. There's the twilight zone. Peekaboo. I see you. You could see me? You seen me? You seen me, right? You seen me. You always seen me. I seen you, you seen me. Nyan seen me? Casby Dolly seen me? Try again? Alright. Peekaboo. Peekaboo. Let's continue. Let's continue. Oh, good. Let's continue. Look, this is how the PNM should be. The PNM should dress up in the suit and ties and come and sit down inside here for Parliament, yeah? What do you think, yeah? Because they ain't talking to nobody but empty walls. Let's continue. Let's go in and see the school. Hope nothing bite me. Eh. Oh my goodness. This looked like you could film a scary movie or something. Look at in there. Look at in there. Look like you could film a scary movie. This is the entrance. And I kid you guys not, this was looking better a year ago, 2 years ago. Take a look, director. Come, cameraman. Take a look inside. This is where thousands of your tax-paying dollars go in. And I want you to see, and I want everyone to see that the ventilation was in. They just needed to complete it and open it. It was like 90%. The glass on the ground. Watch where you're walking, huh? Don't fall into the PNM trap here. Keep your eyes open. Look at this school now, boy. You all know this was a modern school, right? This was modern. This is outfitted with computer labs, AC classrooms, proper staff areas, a covering for when rain fall. Look at the pillars. Look at the pillars. Zoom in on the pillars. You all know what type of school this was gonna be. We watching shows. We watching Disney Channel. We saw shows on Disney Channel with modern day looking schools. That is what this was supposed to be. That is what this right here was supposed to be. Take a look. Look at the classrooms. Look at the ventilation. Look at this. Look at the ventilation, right? Go up at the ventilation. Come inside now. Look at the ventilation systems. What school you know have all of that people? What school? You went to school, T. What school you know had all the ventilations? What do you think? What do you think about this so far? Hold on. No, tell the people. What do you think so far?
But are we good if the structure had finished?
Cameraman, what are you thinking, cameraman?
Deplorable.
Look, come inside, show them all up here. Look all up there. Look at the type of structure now, boy. Let's come out of here. I feel like the fumes or whatever. It feels weird inside here. This had a fire recently. It smells bad though. It smells bad, right? Look at this now, boy. And because Kamlak here, could have a savannah, somebody living here, look. Show the camera, carry it upwards. People living here. People living in the school. I tell you. Let's go. So, you focus on the right people living in this school. You can go upstairs because that's the bedroom. That's crazy. That is crazy. Look all here. That's what the washrooms were here. With mold. It's a mold. Look. Look down there. Look. You feel like I'm showing you around, I'm showing the people. Millions of dollars, Trinidad. Millions of dollars was spent here. Your tax-paying dollars. Sure. Washroom. Up here, don't really have anything. Raise the camera. Raise the camera. Up here, don't really have anything. I don't know what's up here. It's supposed to be, I'll be honest. Let's go down. Now bear in mind, it is Nian Gasby Dolly. Oh, Ja. Wow. Let's have all in the back here. You can hear that? It sounds like it have people in here. This school had elevators. Wow, look at that elevator in this school. That's crazy. I never went to a school that had elevators. Look. Look inside there. That looks like a horror movie. I'm hearing people on the school compound, which is why I'm talking soft. This is different. Let me get a phone light. Let me get a phone light. Give me the phone light. I hear something. You could see director, cameraman. The cameraman's scared to come in. This is crazy. I'm guessing these are the classrooms. Look at me. I'm guessing these are the classrooms, right? It looks like it. Take a look. Looks like the classroom areas. The ventilation, the school was outfitted with ventilations. Just smell like dust and rubble. Take a look around, huh? Capture plenty content. Even the ceiling here, because it had ventilation already outfitted there on the ceiling. You could see it. This is different. It smells well bad. Well, it smells like dust and rubble, which obviously it should smell like. I, in total disbelief, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm in total disbelief with how this looks and to know what this could have been. I want to see what's in the back. Just have a shoe. Come on. Shh. Come on. It's bad. This looks. Y'all hearing? I don't know what this sound is. I want to see what the sound is. It's just water. It's just water. This looked like it was the washroom areas. I don't think anyone gave an extensive tour of this school but me. This looked like the whole washroom area, so it looked like it just has a lot of washrooms and stuff like that on this floor. This looks like a prison though, like in the dark, doesn't it? There's some bats here. Wow, way. Wow. This school just nice, man. This school nice. This school had elevators, you know. It had a lift. This school had a lift. I am saddened that the people, children from this very community, doesn't have a perfect school they could come to and call their own. Because I mean, most of your days, most of your youthful days are made at school, and you have nothing. Just because government, P&M, didn't want to complete it, didn't want to do anything on the school. And I just took you on an extensive tour, man. And Nian want to talk about education. Nian Gatsby want to talk. And she want to say government don't care, but look at this. How long we in the school now? Like a good 20 minutes? And we can't even walk the whole thing. It still have more buildings, more structures. Look, all across here. Look, all across there. Look there. Another structure. In the back, another structure. Look all here. Look how big this school is now, boy. And it still have more up above, huh? It still have more up above. Look, we didn't even go all the way up to the next floor. Still have more floors to go up to. Crazy, boy. Look, even on this side, look, more structure there. More in the back there. Real plenty. This massive, boy. A red structure across there. And then people have the gall to tell me that I am a UNC sycophant. I'm a UNC sycophant. Me. Because the UNC, and let me make it clear, the UNC put on this. Which community we in, guys? And who was running St. Joseph before? P&M. This was Terrence Dial Singh, former Minister of Health. This was his community. This is his people, his burgesses. And I'm a UNC. I'm a sycophant. I'm a paid spokesperson because I choose to come and tell you that UNC give people this and P&M leave it to rot. For what? Because UNC built it. And because UNC built it for all their black people and people in this community, all they didn't want it. We go vote them out. We don't want that. And then Nian could come and talk on social media and in Parliament and tell you and tell any people that UNC don't like all that. And UNC is the government that thieving all their money. I have more faith right now in UNC budgeting the country than the P&M. Because if UNC do this in a recession and P&M squander, I know for a fact I would have loved to come to this school. I wish Success Laventille used to look like this. Where's the way out? Oh, you know, where's the way out? See, it remind you of anything? This is the part. Yeah, this is it. This is out. Tell Ollie, I know where I'm going now. I know where I'm going. This is the way out. My compass is leading me here. Now you remember it? Now you believe me? True. And we didn't even go up there. You all realize that, right? That side. Turn around. Still have that structure there that we didn't go to. The point is, come to. They're not on camera. Focus on me. Come, T. T, how old are you again? Come. You're not going on camera. You're staying at the side. Come. How old are you again?
23.
How old are you, Director?
22.
21?
22.
This is a good form of slavery I engage in here in Trinidad and Tobago. This is explore your country type of slavery. But honestly, because I have nobody to talk to, T, what's your opinion? Your honest opinion.
Right.
Just talk, say anything.
The school real nice. I love to go to the school. If it was actually finished, I knew St. Joseph Secondary. Actually been in the St. Joseph Secondary and that looking a mess. I know students was very excited for the school, but to look at it now, it's real disappointing to see what the government needed to PNM. But hopefully, since UNC in power, they could probably look at reopening the school.
Refurbishing it first, because this look like this is real work, you know. The questions that I have for you, I don't know, because people go say I'm making it political, right? But at the end of the day, your vote counts. Your vote matters. Your vote matters. Your finger on voting day matters. It's not all just about what you can get in your pocket immediately. It's about what government doing for country. And education is the first step in developing our country. This is right next door, by the way. Turn on this way. This is the old school, eh? That is the old school. Right next door, the fence is here. And this, across here, is the new school. And during the earthquake, Trinidad and Tobago, the severe one that we had, I think it was 7.2, 6 point something, 7 point something, the tower, I think it's the east or west side of the school, cracked. Almost fall down. And this, they could go to, we spoke to the PTA of the school as well. They could come here. So, Nian, come again? Maybe she didn't put boots on the ground. See why walking now? And then come here. Her vehicles can't come in here. Her vehicle can't come in here. So they could miss me with all of the nonsense that they're talking in Parliament about funding and finance and this and that and the other, because where's the track record of the UNC? Look at the People's Partnership track record. David Welch, out of the St. Joseph Secondary School, the only person to be here. So if you don't want to listen to me and you say that, oh, he's a UNC spokesperson, come here for yourself. Have a great day.
Your child doesn't understand what they read, SCA becomes 10 times harder. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
Unbeatable deals, unbeatable experience. More savings, more smiles. Shop smart, save more at SNS. Quality you trust, prices you love. At SNS Supermarket, we make every trip rewarding. From unbeatable promotion to top-tier customer service, we bring you the best deals with an endless variety and effortless shopping. From everyday essentials to unique finds, we have it all in one place. No more running around. Shop at any one of our conveniently located branches in Mayaro, Rio Claro, or Pico.
I am really proud to say that I am the only person doing this on social media, you know. Everybody else, all other TV show hosts will just come talk. But I actually go down and show you what I am talking about and back it up with not only videos but facts. Sometimes shaky facts because the school was built or started in 2008 or 9, I believe, by Patrick Augustus Manning, PNM. However, it was carried on by the United National Congress. And the PNM, after they lost elections in 2015, did not complete their own work that they started. But majority of the structure was put there by Kamla Prasad Bisasa, and that's the St. Joseph Secondary School. That's what I'm speaking about. But in regards, and by the way, I have this for my throat. Thank you, Director. You take blame, right? Still don't take blame? Anyway, the pharmacist is your fault. All right. Anyway, but outside of that, I visited the UE South campus, and outside of that also, I visited Separia and Port of Spain. Coming maybe Wednesday, maybe Saturday, I'll consider it which day. We're going to bring another video to you of a journey through Port of Spain and then a journey through Princetown, or sorry, Barrackpore, not Princetown, Barrackpore, either on Wednesday or Saturday. It depends on how well we edit those videos. But I went to UE South campus just before we wrap up this video, or this live, sorry, take a look. So we're outside of the University of the West Indies South campus. This is the infamous South campus that Kamla Prasad Bisasa is speaking about, and she spoke directly to the University of the West Indies to get this campus open and to open it for the original purpose that it was created for. Now, as you well know, for 9+ years, this campus sat here doing absolutely nothing. And persons on the Southland and past the lighthouse had to go and still have to go all the way down to St. Augustine to the north in order to get any level of education, tertiary education that is. Now this campus is set to open. You'll see when. I believe Kamla Prasad Bisasa has a mandate to try to open this campus either as early as next year. She has a lot of projects carded to be fully functional and fully operational by the year 2026. So finally, the people, you could see some of the homes right across there if you would pan. All right, the people on the Southland, all the way up there, Trinidad and Tobago, will finally have somewhere to come to, and that is the University of the West Indies South Campus. So therefore, we can provide a better quality of education, not just for persons on the north, but for persons in the south as well, and throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Who else doing it? Marks that. Who else doing it? Who else walking the walk and talking the talk? Nobody else. I guarantee you that. On the next show, I'll most likely bring the Port of Spain and Barrackpore clip to you. Outside of that, there's still a lot to talk about. Coming Saturday, the good Aaron Duncan will be joining us on the live come Saturday at 8 p.m. So stay tuned for Weekend Review on Saturday. because we have a packed show. While Christmas is around the corner, Carnival season is also here. And, you know, the soca artists dropping the tune. And this is Aaron Duncan rebooted. And we will hear about the journey that Aaron Duncan took for that rebirth. As you all know, Aaron Duncan was with Zoe in the regards of sang a song with Zoe, not the other way around. All right? And we're going to hear about his journey. He finding his way in the soca industry, and we'll get to that on Saturday. Coming up on Wednesday, there's still a lot to go over on Wednesday, a lot that we didn't even talk about tonight that we need to go over on Wednesday. So stay tuned to Week in Review for Wednesday's show as well, starting 8 to 9 p.m. And we sometimes go over 9 o'clock. All right? But you good with that? Just say yes because you love the show so much. Trinidad and Tobago, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hey, somebody actually asked me if I'm looking for a director, I know. So you know what I say? That's what I say. Take a guess. I back you up, sir. I say you know what you're doing on the show. So I tell them to send the resume. Have a great night, Trinidad and Tobago. I'll see you back here on Saturday. Stay safe. Good night.